said it wasn't humanly possible. But now you can have all the power and excitement of Nintendo right in the palm of your hand. Introducing Game Boy. It's portable, it's in stereo, and its games are interchangeable. Plus, Game Boy comes with the outrageous new game, Tetris. And for head-to-head competition, use the revolutionary video link and blow your opponent away. Game Boy, only from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power, portable power.
What? You never played Tetris? When I first decided I wanted to do this review show, I couldn't really decide whether I wanted to do, handheld games from a technical, historical, this is the history of everything point of view, or if I wanted to do my own personal thing. I think I decided to go with my own personal thing because, honestly, you can find the history of any console or any kind of video gaming on YouTube a million times over. I believe IGN has a really great one or whatever. But I noticed one thing when you look at reviews for systems and things specifically like that, people always have like a Game Boy that's completely clean, looks like it's fresh out of the box. Not here. This is my actual Game Boy from 1991 or 2, whenever I don't honestly remember exactly when I got this, but you can see it's dirty. There's stickers that came out of Cocoa Krispies on it, I think. There's a Samus. It's hard to see. I'll probably do a closer shot later. They got like Mario and Yoshi on here. They're actually just kind of like generic stickers. They weren't really for Game Boy or anything, but yeah, this is pretty old stuff, and it's, the back's kind of worn off. So a little bit about my history. First, I got the Game Boy. This is a Christmas present. I got this with, of course, Tetris that came with it. I also received Boxel and Bubble Ghost, 2 games that you may or may not be familiar with. I'll go into those in future episodes, probably. I've got a lot of Game Boy games that I can't wait to review. After the Game Boy, I ended up getting the ice blue Game Boy Pocket.
You won't have one. It's mine.
New ice blue Game Boy Pocket. It's a limited edition, so everybody can't get one.
I was not influenced by that commercial whatsoever. I actually skipped, well, I didn't skip the Game Boy Color. What happened was I actually ended up spending my allowance on this and this Super Game Boy. So at that point I really had no need for Game Boy Color. And I mean, I was like 15 when the thing came out, so it's not like I was rolling in cash anyways. After that, the Game Boy Advance came out in 2001. I was graduating from high school. I had a job by then. I bought it maybe the week or 2 after it came out. And eventually I ended up finding, I don't remember where I found it, to be honest with you, but I found a Game Boy Advance SP. And I don't actually have either one of those anymore because I traded them both in towards purchase of a DS Lite, which I have right here with an Advance cartridge in it. I have plenty of Game Boy Advance games as well. About, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, a friend of mine at work actually told me he would give me a PSP that didn't work, and so I always had the intention of getting it fixed. Here it is. I've never actually used this. It has no battery pack, but the problem is that the on-off switch does that, and it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to kind of stick a little. You're supposed to... So, I'm going to see about getting that fixed or getting it replaced or something, because I'd love to review a lot of PSP games. I know there's a few great ones out there. I have some friends that have a PSP, so maybe I can get somebody to loan me one with some games and do something like that. So, I skipped a few of the systems. There's some things that I didn't really plan on covering, like the links. I might do a little bit on that, but some of these systems that really didn't have a lot of games or a lot of shelf life, like the Game.com things like that. You know, I might do little specials or something on those or whatever, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on things like that because I didn't really experience those. I will be covering the Game Gear quite a bit because even though I didn't own one, I knew people that had them as kids, and you know, we all kind of traded Game Boys, traded Game Gears and stuff. And of course, you know, those of us that traded our Game Boys for a Game Gear, you know, to somebody for, you know, a trip, you know, middle school trips or something, you know, kind of got the short end of the stick because those things eat batteries like nothing. So basically, I've got a way that I can review Game Gear games. I'm going to be picking one up hopefully soon. They're very inexpensive. They're like $20. The games are not that pricey either. I will be cheating a little bit because there are certain games that, you know, I want to focus on handheld stuff, but you know, Chrono Trigger got released for the DS and has enough extras in it where I feel like, you know, I can cover that without, you know, it's not like I'm necessarily reviewing a Super Nintendo title. I'm reviewing the DS version specifically. Alright, I know what you're thinking. Game Boy games? Really? To be honest with you, there's a lot of great games for the Game Boy. Same thing for, you know, Game Boy Color. Some of these older systems that, you know, like the graphics aren't, you know, great or whatever, but, you know, there's a lot of games that really do stand the test of time, and I think that's really what makes a great game. It's one of the things I've always considered myself to be good at, is even if I don't necessarily enjoy a game, if it's a good game, I can still tell. You know, for instance, I really don't care for Halo. It's not a game that really interests me, but I understand its importance to the market and why people like that type of thing. So, you know, that's kind of what I'm wanting to do here is show you like maybe some games that you may have missed, or, you know, even something that you remember playing or you haven't played in a while. And, you know, I really get a kick out of handheld games. Okay, things you need to know about this show. Yes, I take requests. Definitely take requests. You know, sometimes I'll just do something I feel like doing, but you know, I want feedback. I definitely want to hear from people. Also, you know, I kind of, you know, I thought about doing like, you know, like characters and, you know, like little storylines, all that stuff. You know, I'm just kind of going to keep the craziness out of this. You know, no, like, you know, weird like space aliens and, you know, secret organizations and goofy stuff like that. You know, just that's kind of not really what I was thinking about doing. So just going to keep this sort of straightforward, you know, my take on things and stuff, and that's just how I kind of planned on doing that. I'll try to keep you guys updated on, you know, news with, you know, like the PSP2 and, you know, the 3DS. One thing I really don't plan on reviewing is iPhone and Android phone, you know, like smartphone games. I know if you go to like PocketGamer.com or some of these places, it's, you know, it's considered like a section of gaming. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen some good games on phones, on some of these smartphones. I've seen some good games, but it's a phone. It's not. You don't buy a phone to play the games. You buy a phone to use as a phone. Like, I didn't buy my DS because it makes breakfast or anything like that. Hello? Nope, you can't get any phone calls there. Sorry. You know, like, I just, you know, if there's something that's really, really great, and I know somebody that has an iPhone, I might kick them $5 to buy the game so I can play it and review it for you guys if you really want that. But I just don't. It's not a game system. So that's just how I feel about it. If you disagree, that's fine. Like I said, if there's something really great, I'm not going to review 20 different homebrew versions of Pac-Man. You know, I've been stressing out a lot over setting this show up and stuff. I went through, you know, I was thinking about different like costumes and things that I could do. I went through several different variations of stuff. None of that really worked out. So I'm just gonna be, you know, me. I'm gonna wear whatever I've got on for the day. You know, I'm gonna try to get some things up on the wall here, make things a little more interesting and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it funny. You know, try to throw in some jokes, you know, make it entertaining. This is a Game Boy game I like. I'm gonna play the Game Boy game. No, I'm not. That's not gonna happen here. So.